24th council meeting to order. We will start with our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We have some minutes to approve from our June 10th regular city council meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 10th meeting.
Motion's been made by Kyle and seconded by
I'll second that.
Lynn to approve the June 10th, 2019 regular council meeting minutes. All in favor indicate by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Additions to the agenda.
I do. I have a couple actually changes to the agenda.
Okay.
So first off, we can take off building permits. We didn't have any, so we don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
And then I have two additions from Bob because he couldn't be here tonight. Clubhouse manager hiring and a request for shelter donation.
Can we put those at the end? Why don't we put the request for shelter first and then clubhouse manager last, okay?
Okay.
Anything else? If not, I will look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda with the with the deletion of building permits and then the adding of the request for shelter and clubhouse manager.
Motion's been made by Donnie to accept the changes to the agenda, seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jackie. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. So let's move right into the Chapter 10 Cable Franchise Ordinance. We had a public hearing earlier this evening in regard to that. Again, situation is simply that the cable franchise contract was due this year. Since it had not been updated since 1984, the attorneys on both sides of the fence determined to just tear up the old contract and put a new one out in place. Nothing has really changed other than verbiage. So I guess we need a motion to accept that ordinance.
Is that contract going to be just for 1 year?
10.
10 year?
It's 10 year.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve
Motion's made.
the ordinance change.
Made by Kyle to approve the ordinance change to the
I'll second.
cable franchise, seconded by Jackie. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Scott Hedlund with Campground Concept Planning Proposal. Welcome, Scott.
Talk about it?
Come on up.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to talk about it. Hopefully everybody saw in the packet what Scott had put forth to us. Let's just give you a preference or prefix, I guess, to what's going on down there. We have gotten a proposal. We spent some money and did get a proposal, which was approved a couple of weeks ago, for putting 9 holes of golf out on the additional new land. We also are looking at possibly putting camping out there, seasonal campsites. We'd like to do the same type of comparison, and in order to get proper estimates, we need a proper layout there so that people like Richbury Water Sewer District, the electric company, Minnesota Power, that those people can do proper bids for us or estimates for us, and grading and leveling and the different things we need to do out there. So we had asked Scott to step up and do that for us. We also asked him to do the same thing with the gravel pit that's directly north of our current campsite. We did meet with Knife River 2 weeks ago, Bob and Trump and I, and that is available for us for purchase if we're interested. So the thought process the park board had basically was that we want to know what it's going to cost us to do things there before we would purchase it. So we're going to spend, I think your estimates were roughly for $5,000 and $4,000 for either of the two. So we're going to spend, the proposal that we're making is that we spend some money to get some proper estimates and some proper layouts before we go further and potentially spend unnecessary money. So with that being said, Scott, if you want to.
I don't know, you said it pretty well there, I guess.
Oh.
I mean, I call it concept
So
plan.
now you just knocked $100 off that bill?
Yeah, there you
Bid?
go, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I broke it up into 2 tasks, one for the north piece, one for the south piece. There's a little more to it on the south one than the north one, at least at this stage.
At this stage, because.
At this stage.
Yeah. We have actually laid out 3 specific areas where we
Yep.
would want to do camping, and another area where we don't want to have our general area, which would be potentially a building, a bathroom, a swimming pool, or those types of things if we got to that venture. But first we're starting with the camping part of it.
Right.
So,
So yeah, I mean, we'd be doing some mapping, laying out where the campsites are in the common area and some roads through there, and then laying out some utilities too at a concept level. So it's pretty preliminary, and then we estimate out the costs of that as well. One thing, I got a schedule in here completed within 6 months. I mean, we can start that a lot sooner.
Okay.
But it's a matter of if we get it going, and I have a couple iterations factored into our budget. Depends how long you guys take to review things and make comments and get it back. So I mean, it can stretch out, but that's not saying I can't start it for 6 months.
well, and that was my biggest concern of what I looked at there.
Yeah.
It's stating that completion date, I believe, was 6 months out, which puts us into January. If we are looking to do something out there next spring, getting bids from water, sewer, electric might be a little tight, to get started out there.
No, I can do
So-
it quicker than that. I just, whatever, I didn't put.
You
I
give
wasn't
yourself a
treating
little-
it as
little bit of leeway.
necessarily like a completion date, because it's a iterative
Okay.
process. So if you're looking for something sooner than that, I guess, what are you thinking? Do you know?
I don't want to put a date on it, Scott. I'd sooner have a good thorough job than to have it rushed. But the sooner you can do that, the sooner we could make a decision on purchasing the land. For
Right.
example, on the north side, make a decision or throw out estimates to Ripsaw, throw out estimates to Minnesota Power, or to whoever else, to excavating or to leveling, whoever, taking bids on that. Those are the types of things we'd have to get out. It'd be nice to be able to get those bids all through the winter so that if we do decide to go with something by April 1st, we're ready to break ground.
Right.
And I know that's aggressive, it's very aggressive, but
Yeah, no, I mean, again, this is concept level type stuff. It's not construction plans and specs
Right.
or anything like that, but I mean, I could have something, I'm thinking by September, for you guys for a first iteration, and I'm assuming you'd have some comments, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Depending on how long
Sure.
the meeting dates with park board or whoever's making the decisions on all this, you can lose a month pretty fast on some of that stuff, so.
Donnie, you're on the park board? Comments, thoughts?
I think we're fine with where he's at. The north side, since we don't own that land, how much can you actually get in there and do?
We can get it, we have gotten permission from Knife River
To do everything, okay.
to walk through it. We've approached somebody to come in and see what leveling might have to be done in there, what resources are in there yet. That would be of use to us, that we can take out without defacing, if, for lack of a better word.
There might be
the
some more
pit.
gravel to be.
Yeah, there's more resources to use in there, gravel, sand, but we gotta stop at a certain point because you're gonna dig holes and make water.
Right.
So we gotta,
Maybe to what you're asking, we don't have anything in there for surveying or anything. We'll use aerial photography and
That's fine.
aerial
That's what I'm
contour data that's out there. There's some pretty good 2-foot contour type data that's out there. Just pretty good info for the level of what we're talking about.
and I just think it'd be prudent for us, we've been kind of spinning our wheels on this, to go out, get this done, rather than sit here a year from now and still wondering, we don't know what the cost is to put camping out there until we find out. We need to find out. And we can all estimate what it might be, but until we find out, there's a lot of dirt would need to be moved. we need water, sewer somehow out there, we need electricity out there somehow. So, and you guys should mute your phones, please.
Do we know the cost of the land out there?
We're in negotiations on that, so I'd sort of keep that kind of close to our chest yet at this time.
Where would this 9,500 come out of?
Pardon?
Where would this cost
Where are we
take us,
gonna
where are we
take
gonna
the
take this
money
money out of?
We did open, we opened an account for the development of Heman's property, but there's no money in that account yet because we haven't put anything there. I would say we'd have to take it out of the park campground, or park fund right now.
Is there enough in there to do that?
You also have money coming in off of the, like, Freedom Fest camping. That's happening on the Heman's property that I would recommend putting towards
Toward that.
that development of that
Start
property.
assigning that toward that, yeah.
I can't remember if we budgeted something as like designated each year. I feel like we did put a line item in there that we were gonna put a certain amount towards this property each year.
I feel like it, but I don't
So we'd
remember
have,
what it was.
yeah, we'd have to look at that line.
Well,
item.
and if we
might-
didn't last year, we
I don't know if we
should this year.
budgeted 9,500, but I think we budgeted something, so we could look at that, but
Yeah.
I would agree, I guess my thoughts are, I've been on this for 2.5 years now, and we bought it right as I was coming in, and, you know, we're really not, I mean, we're a little further along the way, but not much in terms of knowing, you know, how much this stuff's gonna cost. That's always what we come back to. Well, if it costs too much to put in a campground, we might not be able to do it.
Right.
We can't ever get to that point because we don't know what it's gonna cost. So I agree, 9,500 is some money to spend, but at some point, we're gonna have to spend some money to know
You're
even what
talking a lot of
direction.
property here too,
So-
and this is like over 100 acres.
Yeah, right,
You know
true.
what I mean, so it's a lot.
True.
There's a
So,
lot there.
well, and I think I said in the beginning too, I said I don't want to rush into something either without a plan, because if you rush into it and find out, oops, we should have did this part over there, you've just kind of, you know, wasted a lot of time and resources going the wrong direction. So the better we can plan this thing, I think the better. So I'm in favor of this and moving forward.
Couldn't have said it better.
I just thought of something, not trying to throw a monkey wrench in this, but maybe I am a little bit. Do you remember last fall, we had a proposal out there for doing wetland delineations? You still wanna, and it was kinda getting
We
late in
put
the
that
year, so
part
we
on
would've had
hold,
to
right?
rush it through, but
We put that on hold, and there was a couple of reasons why, because I think those wetland delineations are only good for X number of years.
Yeah, that's what
it's
I
up to 5 years
Okay.
for
And-
permitting purposes.
And
so-
I don't know that it was necessary that we needed it yet, until we decide, depending on what we would do with the land. If we would even, possibly the way that some of the courses laid out, I don't think we're even touching that area.
Okay.
So I would say we wouldn't want to do that yet.
That won't
Okay.
affect what you do, Scott, here? You don't
Well,
think, or
I'm
you
just
don't?
saying, I'll make my best guess. I'm not a wetland delineator, you know, I'm,
Remind me
where
what
we're
that
putting
would tell
roads and
us
all that.
then, what we could and couldn't do near.
well, just what
that
you,
stuff.
if you were going to do something in an area that was designated as a wetland, you'd have to permit for it,
Okay,
to permit out the impacts.
okay.
So that's all I guess I could say on that. I mean,
You
and my
could come
proposal
to us.
was only for that south piece, it wasn't for the north one.
On the wetland delineation, yeah. Yeah, we would have to look at that more closely, what we would need on the north.
So is that?
I mean, if you guys are thinking the only wetlands are along the creek there, is that pretty much it? Or
I
is
think
there,
along the creek, and there's some along the south.
I would think there's gotta be some on the south.
South border by the road down.
I'm just saying, we'll make our
It's not
best.
much, but there's a little bit. of
Right.
Well, if
Beacon
you-
has a good look at
Behind
that.
hole two, greens on the green.
I mean, as a part of this process, I can have someone just look at aerial photos and stuff, but it's not gonna be a delineation, so there's a little bit of a risk there of
You might
you're
say we
planning
can
on
put
top of
something
some
here,
wetlands, but
and then
then
that
you're in
comes
a
in.
permitting situation. But I still think before you start moving dirt or anything.
Right,
you
then we
wanna
would
Probably
need to
wanna do that.
Definitely do that.
I agree.
That makes sense.
But if even if maybe we get something that you think is getting some legs, consider doing that
Be
sooner
jumping
than
out of
later.
that. Okay, good point.
It's just good insurance
Yeah.
and maybe look at doing both, even though the stuff's man-made on the north end. It sometimes surprises you what's considered a wetland and what isn't. You know? So,
Maybe we make a note, Carrie, maybe we need to circle back on that.
Delineations.
Yeah.
I'd say later this summer maybe,
see
or
what that
early
proposal
fall,
was.
just because we have till about October 15th or somewhere in there, whenever the growing season ends. As to where you can, is the cutoff for doing those if you want it to be official, which
Yep.
would make sense to me.
Make a note of that for the park board to look at too, Don.
Yep.
You're the chair there. So, okay, very good. Any other questions for Scott?
So then the deliverable, it looks like you'll bring us some drawings and it would be
Yep,
map
drawings
out,
and-
here's what we kind of envision.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm analogizing it as, or analogizing, it's kind of like a preliminary plat almost, where you have lot layouts and road layouts and everything,
Yep.
but it's not a grading plan, it's not construction plans, it's not that kind of.
And then the next step would be to get a grader
Take it
out
from there and then.
and do an estimate to do the grading to get it to where we need it to be.
Right, so
Electric to run
if
it,
there's
water.
multiple ways you could go from the concept plan, like you're saying, you could just jump to getting an estimate from the
Right.
contractor and let them use their own creativity to come up with something versus actual.
And one of the
Grades
things
on
we may
plans
look at
and
is do we do it all in one, or do we do it in sections?
Right, yeah, so I laid it out just in talking with Bob before I prepared this. I met with him down at the golf course, Clubhouse, but looked like possibly 3 phases for the south end, or at least 3 groupings, and then 2 on the north, just to start with, but gotta start somewhere.
Anybody else? Any questions? I will look for a motion then, either way, to either move forward with it. Did talk to Bob earlier this evening, about 5 or 6, and he suggested we move forward with it, was his desire
I
there.
make a motion to move forward with the costs.
Motion's been made to have SEH move forward with the campground concept planning proposal. Motion made by Jackie, seconded by
Second that.
Donnie. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very well. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So I'll get a contract over to Carrie then, and I'll change the date to September, seem reasonable?
Yeah.
Bring it to.
September forward, fine.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Scott.
Certificate of completion for Jack and Lori Hoheisel Industrial Park lot. That means they are done with their
With their
payoff,
developers
right,
agreement. Yeah,
with their
so in the
developers
developers agreement, it was 5 years. So now we have to release them from any risk of forfeiture.
So,
Certificate of completion, basically just stating that they've met all their terms on the developers agreement and we're giving it free and clear.
do we need a motion on that, or is this just?
Yes.
We need a motion to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the certificate of completion and the release of forfeiture for Jack and Lori Hoheisel.
And before we go further, just out of curiosity, is it under Jack and Lori Hoheisel, or is it under Pierz?
It's under Jack and Lori Hoheisel.
It is?
Yep. The developers agreement was written that way.
That's,
Yep.
okay. Motion made by Kyle for the certificate of completion for
I'll second that.
Jack and Lori Hoheisel's industrial lot. Seconded by Lynn. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The next thing on the agenda there, the industrial park lot request, lot 1, block 2. This is more of an FYI. CenterPoint Energy has approached us with an interest of obtaining that lot. So Nicole and Carrie are in the process of creating a developer agreement with them.
They're also looking at purchasing the 2 lots to the north.
They are also looking at purchasing the shrimp farm
And the lot to the
and the lot to the north.
So they
of
would be
that.
buying all
Yeah.
3 lots.
Yes, so,
Which one, remind me, which one is lot 1?
Lot 1 is the corner lot.
That's
on
the corner
curve.
lot that we
It's
got
That
back.
we got back, and so
Right.
they'd be buying our lot from us,
And then the
and
shrimp.
then the shrimp farm building, and then the vacant building between, or the vacant lot between that and Chris Hoheisel's property.
Okay.
their plans are, you know, they're adding quite a bit. They're gonna be adding another building there. They're gonna be using the shrimp farm building. This particular lot is probably gonna be used as much for parking lot and things. Some of their lines run under this lot, so it's an advantageous lot for them. Okay. With that being said, that would then put all of our lots being spoken for. Alan Hoheisel is working for on lot 4, is working with the developers agreement as well with us. So, well, that would be a very nice thing for CenterPoint to come into town and
My only question with that is, because technically it was a lot that we received back, and we have to re-record all the documents again, it was brought up on whether or not you guys want to have them pay the $1 plus the $46 recorder's fee to have all the documents recorded.
I think we decided that actually, didn't we?
I think you guys talked about that before.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
talk
I just
about
need to
that
make sure, like,
in a work session. We discovered that people were buying these lots for $1, but we were paying the recording fee. So we were losing $45 on that. I think the purchaser should be paying that.
Yeah.
We got 2 lots to change it for. I think we should change it for. If that's an issue with them, we'll rediscuss.
Okay.
Fair
Do you
enough.
want to make a motion on that, so I can just let them know, or do you want to wait until we have developers
I
agreement?
would like to have a motion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you're looking for the motion to have.
To charge the $1 plus the recorder fee.
Recorded fee,
I'll
which
make
is
a
46
motion.
something.
I'll make a motion for them to pay the $1 plus the recorder's fee.
Motion is made by Jackie to have any new developers to pay the $1 plus recording fee for any lots in industrial park. Seconded by
I'll second.
Kyle. All in favor, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, gambling permit, Pierz Lions, August 25th, 2019, that deals with Oktoberfest. They've always done that in the past. I'm assuming Eric has no issue with it, or he just said something.
Yeah, Eric doesn't care for the gambling, doesn't care about the gambling, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the next one for him, I guess, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I guess we look for a motion for
I'll make the
that.
motion to approve the gambling permit for the Pierz Lions for August 25th.
Motion made by Lynn to approve the gambling permit for Pierz Lions on August 25th.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Donnie. All in favor indicate by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. And coinciding with that is the one-day liquor license that I'm sure Eric has no
Yeah.
problem with, or he would have said something. And this they have done for 30-some years also.
I make a motion to approve the temporary liquor license for the Pierz Lions Club.
Motion's been made by Jackie to approve the one-day liquor license for Pierz Lions. Seconded by
I'll second.
Kyle. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Schedule a workshop for July 15th. I was looking ahead. I think we have a number of things to discuss. And I'm thinking that Monday night, July 15th is the Monday between our council meetings. And where we don't have a park board meeting that night. Does that work for the rest of July 15th?
What time are we thinking?
Pardon?
What time are we thinking?
I'm able to go as early as the rest of the world is, so we gotta look at people that work for a living.
I think he's looking at us.
What,
Ideally, 6 o'clock for me is best. I
Yeah.
could probably make it by 5:30 if I have to, but 6 would be better.
6 is better, then I don't have to, I can get
6
kids
works
taken
for-
care of.
and hopefully we'll try not to stay all night, but we do have some things that are mounting on there, so is that acceptable for everybody? 6 o'clock Monday, July 15th?
I already told you I may or may not be here.
Yeah, that got shut down pretty quickly though.
That got shut down.
Yes. So, I look for a motion for that.
I'll make the motion to schedule the workshop for July 15th, 6 PM.
Motion been made by Lynn to schedule a workshop for July 15th.
I'll second
at 6
that.
o'clock, seconded by Donnie. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, let's go into the two...
Shelter donation.
Shelter donation, yes.
So Bob had a request in today for the South Shelter rental this Thursday from the baseball team to have their end of the year banquet.
The high school baseball team.
Yes.
This Thursday is the 4th of July.
7:30.
No, that's next
Next
week.
Thursday, it's 4th of July. You're right. What time was that for? It doesn't
It's
matter.
in the evening
7:30
sometime.
to 8:30.
Again, and they're requesting that to be a
Donation.
donation.
Yep.
Again, we've given it to clubs, Boy Scouts, Girls Clubs, nonprofits, so I suppose they would fall under that. It's good to see them using it and getting the high school boys down there. Maybe they'll start golfing instead of playing baseball,
Probably
right?
not booked, so I'm okay with that.
Okay with it? Yeah, Bob didn't have it, he said he didn't have anything on the schedule, so.
Okay.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the requests for the shelter for the boys' baseball team.
I'll second it.
motion's been made by Kyle, seconded by Jackie to donate to the boys' baseball team the use of the shelter on Thursday this week, or date that would be. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Clubhouse manager position. At our last meeting, we accepted the resignation of Amy Tholand as our clubhouse manager. We did advertise for a new position, and we also did some interviewing for that position. At this time, and with the park board and Bob would like to recommend that we offer the position to Mary Kai. We're looking at offering her the position at $18 an hour. And then she would just be a temporary full-time employee. She would work out the season for us, and we'd sit down at the end of the season and see what we do going forward with that position.
She can start immediately?
She would start Tuesday if we approve it tonight. The schedule is set for next week, but Bob wants to work with her on training. She needs some work some training on the point of sale system there specifically. Mary has a lot of experience in the hospitality world, so we don't need to train her how to do that. The training would
She
be...
worked at the clubhouse too for...
She had worked at the clubhouse
She's familiar.
for a couple of years, so she's very familiar down there. She hasn't worked with the point of sale system,
Right.
so we'll work with her on that, and she will have to go in and get a food license. So hopefully next week, if we approve it here, her plan is to do some training and get her food license completed this week, or the class, or we'll get that taken. Then next week we have 4th of July, very busy, both weekends, and the 4th and the week after that. So we'll get very busy down there.
And then Freedom Fest is the following weekend.
And then the Freedom Fest is following weekend. So we think it's important that we move forward and get her going down there, because we do have, it's going to be busy down there in July, hopefully.
Jump right in.
With camping and everything, yes. So, questions or thoughts on that? For those of you that know Mary, I'm 100% confident that she'll do a great job down there. She's got a very, very pleasant personality, and she's worked with people before and knows how to do that, so.
Great.
I'll make the motion to hire Mary as the new clubhouse manager.
Mary Connie. Motion made by Donnie to hire Mary Connie as the clubhouse manager, seconded by
Second that.
Lynn. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Good. Do we have a treasurer's report?
Carrie was before me. Does she have anything?
What's that?
Carrie's on the agenda before me. Does she have anything?
Why don't you do your treasurer's report first?
Right here. Oh, I'm sorry. The checkbook balance with the statement on May 31st was $929.12. $900,929.12.
And as of what date was that?
May 31st,
Because now all the changes
before
will
any of the
happen.
transfers have taken place.
Correct. So all the transfers have taken place since then, and so we'll be looking.
Next month we'll
Next
have-
month we'll have a new interesting report. So a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Motion made by Kyle to accept the treasurer's report, seconded by
I'll second.
Jackie. All in favor indicate by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Bob is not here. Did Bob have anything other than that?
No, just those two things.
Okay, and that's. Did you have anything for Harry? No. Okay. Carrie, I know you have a couple of things for us.
I do. It is with great sadness and hesitation that I let you guys know that Nicole has put in her resignation. She did that this morning, with her last day being July 11th. It is a Thursday.
I met with Nicole for about an hour this morning and discussed it with her. She just feels kind of with some of the things going on with her family that she needs to move on. So it's unfortunate. I think she did a great job. And as I told her this morning, I was hoping she'd be a lifer here, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So, with that being said, we have the challenge of, well, first of all, we need to accept her resignation, and we have to determine how we're going to move forward. So, I think we'll start with the
Yeah, I need a motion. Somebody has
Motion to
to.
accept.
Unfortunately, somebody has to make it.
I'll make a motion to accept Nicole's resignation of July 11th being her last day.
Motion was made by Jackie to accept Nicole's resignation as of July 11th, seconded by
I'll second it.
Connie. All in favor indicate by stating aye. Aye. Opposed? Nicole did indicate that she would help us out however we needed,
Yep.
whether it was coming in some evenings or if it was phone or answering questions or doing some training or whatever we needed to do.
Yeah, I do have a vacation scheduled in August. I'm gonna be gone for like a week and a half. So she did say that she will try and help out as much as she can during that time.
So she doesn't have anything lined up that
She does, but because of the circumstances with her family right now, they are being extremely flexible with her. And she's kind of made them well aware of the situation here and her need to wanting to help here too.
Do we also want to look to Sourcewell to see if a possibility for Scott to help out again?
he was the previous.
Yes, I mean, Carrie, do you believe we need to reach out to Sourcewell for help?
I personally, I don't think so. When we utilized him for Nicole's maternity leave, we utilized him very minimally. Whereas, I mean,
A
it
lot
may
less
be
than what we had planned.
right, it may be beneficial just to have him on the back burner if we get in a pinch and need something. But at the same time, I feel like we're capable of him without.
And we were fortunate enough to get somebody last time that had been here and knew
Correct.
our house. There's no guarantee of that. They could send somebody else up, and there's a training curve there as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
So going forward, our options would be one would be to post a position and go forward. Two would be possibly to post a position internally and go forward. Third option would be to throw this on to the admin committee and have a meeting shortly, sometime this week, and decide how to proceed going forward. I know this is news to everybody. We weren't expecting this. So it's not like we're all able to sit down and come up with a plan to
I
go
think
forward
admin
on.
needs to meet before we really make a decision on what we want to do.
So let's try and do that this week.
Do we do that as an admin committee, or do we do that as a full council? If we do it as an admin committee, we can sit down and do it without notice. Full council would have to schedule it and
You
all
have to
that.
schedule
Do
another
the-
meeting.
I think we should do admin first, Dave. and
Because you
then
can do it
we'll
right
go
away.
council.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe admin first and then do
And then
full
do full
council.
council.
Full council.
When does it work for you, the two of you?
Not Thursday.
Dave's
Well,
gone.
Well, not Thursday,
Dave's gone
Friday.
Thursday and Friday this week.
I'm gone Thursday and Friday.
Wednesday, I've got something like right after work till 5:30 if we went later, otherwise I could do tomorrow.
What time tomorrow?
I'd be
I'm
back.
in Pierz on Thursday. No, you said Thursday, not Thursday.
Thursday and Friday.
Tuesday,
Well, we can
Wednesday.
set this up after the fact here, right? We don't
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Why don't we
You
get
guys
together,
just-
we'll put our heads together, and we'll be the three-headed monsters, and we'll figure out a time to meet, if that's the
Yeah,
way.
so
Yeah.
when you and I talked before the meeting, if that was the route that they wanted to take, do you want the council to approve whether or not you guys choose which way you want to
Yeah.
move forward? If you want to post internally or post externally?
Right.
Or do you want to bring it back?
What we'd like to do is, whatever we do, we'd like to be able to make that decision here in the next few days to move forward doing it. If we make the decision not to do anything until our next council meeting, it's not until July 8th. By the time we get something posted, it's too late. I mean, we're going to be without somebody for a while.
Whereas if your admin committee makes that decision to post externally, you guys can post Wednesday.
We can post already, yeah. If we meet Tuesday, we can post Wednesday or so.
Dave, how about we just meet for a few minutes after the council meeting?
Why don't
So we
we-
don't have to come back.
Okay, why don't we try that? Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
So the consensus is whatever you three decide, that's what we're doing? Is that what I'm understanding?
Is that what we want to do?
You guys
That's
weigh
up
in
to you
on it.
guys. Weigh in on it, please. Or do
You
you
guys
want to wait?
want
and-
to say it, like, we just gotta, can Carrie handle the duties? I mean, if we gotta wait till July 8th, I'm assuming she's gonna fill in, that's what we're thinking, right? She did it well, but she was on maternity
Right,
leave.
she's done it before,
She'll
so I
have
want
to
to
fill
follow
in
the
on
fact.
the duties
Well, Nicole's here till July 11th.
until we make a
Have her till the
decision.
11th. So I'm concerned about if we don't start moving on something fairly soon, if we push this out 2 weeks, all of a sudden, we're going to be into that middle of August scenario, so.
In a special meeting, we've got to post it, and then we've got to wait them 3 days.
A special meeting would have to be posted 3 days in advance.
Right.
Correct.
Why
Could
don't
we
we post
do-
for a special meeting like now? I mean, we'll meet and then we'll have the meeting with the full council in the 3 days or whatever you have. How many days, 10?
You have 3 days to post for your meeting if you're going to have a special meeting. But if you are going to have a special meeting, you're going to be looking at next week because Dave is gone Thursday and Friday.
I would be on Thursday and Friday, but we could.
We could do it Monday.
Monday,
next week.
yeah.
Or can we just do post internally for 3 days, and if nobody comes forth in 3 days, then post externally from there? and
What
see-
would be the difference if, even if it's internal versus external? If somebody internal
Yeah.
wants it, they can apply.
Right,
Why don't we
That's
just
why I thought,
post
why don't we
it?
just
Yeah.
Skip that.
Skip that and just post it?
yeah.
And
just
see what
post
we
it.
That
end
cuts
up
off
with.
the time.
It does.
I agree.
And internal will be posting as well as that. I guess you're right.
Posted
I would-
external,
I would agree
internal
with you.
candidate can apply.
Yeah,
And it's out there. it's just
external,
done.
internal candidates given first priority or something.
Absolutely.
So just post it, and how long do we want to post it for, though? We need to make sure we post it for or until filled, which gives us the right to fill it.
Right,
We
right.
need to get the right.
Yeah, open until filled.
Um,
Yeah, because at that point in time, as soon as you have the applicant you feel like you have, you can close it.
all right,
Yep.
so, okay.
So you need a motion to post?
We would need a motion to approve the posting of that position.
I'll make that motion that we have post for,
How long?
one until
Well,
filled.
until
Until
filled,
filled.
until filled.
Okay.
Is that when
Open till
we
filled?
decided, open till filled?
Yep, open till filled.
Open till filled,
Okay.
because then we can gather you guys can.
I was gonna say, at what
convince
point
it.
do you guys plan on looking though at them? You know what I mean?
We can, I mean, I think if we go this route, when we have to sit down and go through what we want to do for an interview process.
Right.
That would be the other
Right.
scenario. So,
But we
That-
can also-
That's what you could do on your own.
yeah.
Instead of posting that for a council meeting, then the admin committee is gonna, will,
We could do an interview first.
Right.
With just our admin and then bring the final X
Okay.
number to the full
Yeah.
council.
Yes.
In one evening.
yes.
So do you post for 2 weeks? Do you post for,
Post until filled. That way we don't have to,
Are we just gonna run the ad week by week?
yes.
Okay.
That's
I think
what
that's where you were trying to lead.
that's what I'm leaning towards, that's,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
we'll look
Indeed
at by
is free.
Thursday, if there's nothing, then we're going to
So-
second.
Yeah, and
Right.
we use like Indeed in the league.
Yeah,
and-
Indeed, and
Yeah.
Okay.
We post it on a number of different sites.
Okay.
So. Okay. Okay, so Donnie has made a motion to post city administrator position.
Yes.
Seconded by?
And second.
Seconded by Jackie. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
To back up on that, when you post though, do you have to put a wage to be?
Salary range. Yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to discuss with, I didn't have a really good chance today to look at what the range was with the David Drone scenario situation. So that is the other thing we should look at, is a salary range.
I think we would just use
Well,
that.
that would be on that
Yes,
David John.
right.
Yeah, and that's
Is
a
that-
wide
Is that what you
range.
guys wanna do, is just use that?
That's what I
It's
would
a wide
think.
range and it gives us some flexibility.
Wide range based
But
on
I-
experience
before-
and a multitude of things.
I'd want to look at what that range is before I commit to it though, too. Just saying.
It wouldn't be any different than what we hired her for to start with. She was in the bottom end of that range because she didn't have any experience. So
Correct.
the more experience, the higher we're gonna go.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
I
fly.
think we probably gotta start in that range, otherwise we're probably gonna be at a,
Right. But that's what I think we did with hers. We just,
Pay equity.
we picked a low, we said, your range is that range, and what your experience is determines where that range is gonna fall.
We didn't have that done when we hired Nicole.
Not the salary study that
The
we did it.
Kyle's
salary
referring
was
to.
not
That was
when-
done after.
We had, Anna had done a study,
Yeah,
and we
this
went
one
off the
is-
study she went off.
Right.
So it's not for
But
David
similar,
Drone,
but it's a similar
same thing.
concept.
So it wouldn't make any
Right.
difference. We got David Drones to go by, but Anna had it
Right,
laid out also,
right,
so
right.
no problem.
Do we need that range in the motion, or do we?
As long as you just put in there whatever the range is off, based off of that salary schedule,
And
I
that's
can
what
figure it
we
out tomorrow, we can
Okay,
post
we'll
it.
figure it
Yeah.
out. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on that?
enjoyed working with Nicole for the last 2.5. She's done a great job, I think.
Yeah.
She's always willing to dig in and take things the extra
Yeah.
step, so that was nice as a council member. So
Yeah,
she'll be
we're
missed.
right in the start of the budget season, so it's sure good to have a CPA with us. So we'll have to pull up our shorts a little bit and get to work on that too. So we may be doing that, so. Okay, anything else?
What else
Do
did we
you guys want to talk about what you guys want to do in the interim? In your admin meeting or whatever?
I think that's, we'll talk about there,
Okay.
yeah. Obviously, I think the plan is to have Carrie step up and
Increase her wage.
wing it.
yeah.
And that we can do as a recommendation, and we can come back and do that.
Yeah, there's a meeting before
I said there's a
Nicole
meeting
leaves.
before she leaves. that we
So,
can
but
take
just
care
so
of.
that you guys have that conversation, think about that before we get to that point.
Yep. So,
That's my thought.
all right. Anything else? Carrie, do you have anything else?
Nope, that was it.
That was enough, huh?
Yeah, that was enough.
I wish you hadn't.
Me too.
You know,
Your turn,
technically, we wouldn't have seconded, we wouldn't have accepted resignation, right? She couldn't have quit.
Is that how that works?
Just checking.
I think so.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made by Donnie to adjourn. Seconded by?
I'll second it.
By Lynn and Jackie. Okay. All in favor indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously.